Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests, Mr. Eric Harp. He is a certified professional fitness trainer. Good evening, Mr. Harp. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, young lady?
I am great. So, we got to talk about food and COVID and fitness.
Okay.
So it seems like this is the same conversation we keep having because COVID just won't leave. It just keeps staying around like a bad penny.
Well,
But
it's here.
it is. So 2020 has been a very stressful year.
Yes.
We and we talk politics all the time. So we just came off of the Breonna Taylor settlement. I don't know if you've seen, I know $12 million. I don't know if you've seen the footage from the SWAT team. I saw it on TMZ. It was a little traumatic, not making light of it. I was very angry while I was watching it. And
So was I. So was I. I'm just over here just
right,
blowing out. But wow, yes.
right. Because it was incredible to see. A few days ago, or should I say right after Breonna Taylor, there was a $20 million settlement in Maryland or Virginia. This past week, we saw a Versace executive, and I don't know if you saw that because it was interesting because it was in Beverly Hills. And I know you lived for a very long time out in LA, and I'm sure that you had an opportunity to traverse some of those areas. And he and he was walking. He was looking at his phone. The police officer said they pulled him over for jaywalking. Now he's an executive with a Versace bag in his hand of shoes that he's designed. He is the boss. And the police officer basically says, we need to see your ID. What are you doing? He looked like he had on a Versace top. So, I'm not saying that police officers should have recognized
They
that.
would they would know the fashion on site.
You would think they would, but they treated him from the video that I saw that he posted as if he was someone who did not belong. That was the it seemed to be the hallmark of the conversation. I had another conversation with someone. I said 164 people this year in 2020 have been killed by police. 164 lives have been lost. We know that 200,000 people have lost their lives because of COVID. We know that from the first debate, and I know we haven't really had a chance to talk about presidential debate, but we learned from the first debate between Trump and Biden. Biden gave us a staggering figure. He said that if we don't do something, that 1 in 500 people of color will be impacted by COVID. I don't know about you,
That's
Eric.
just to begin.
That's just to begin. I don't know about you, Eric, but it just seems like 2020 is just showing out for all the wrong reasons. When we clanged our champagne glasses at the beginning of the year, this is not what I thought. So, I have to ask you, out of all of that, what are your thoughts and how are you feeling?
Well, what's amazing is through all of this, it's the story of the executive going through Beverly Hills. As trivial as it may seem, it's just another instance where we're just reduced to a color. Wouldn't expect the police to recognize Versace on sight, but I'm sure they can tell the difference between the quote unquote thugs that the young black man is painted into, so that even an executive, I'm sure, wearing even as casual a clothes as he was wearing, did not fit the description of a thug. And there's parts of Beverly Hills that walking through the streets and touristy, looking at houses and admiring movie stars' neighborhoods, let alone an address. or historical house. So it's amazing that in that story, a Versace executive is reduced to a thug.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Now, the Breonna Taylor, her name has been, well, her name has been said for months.
Mhm.
And the slogan has been say her name, say her name, say her name. $12 million was the settlement. When you heard it, wow, that's a lot of money to be given in a settlement. Wrongful death. It's
Mhm.
almost like admitting it's a wrongful death just to give $12 million. But the shocker was the black district or district attorney coming out talking about the grand jury did not find enough evidence to charge the officers.
Exactly.
That was a gut blow. I mean, that was that baseball bat across the back that you just hope would never come.
Mhm.
And it did.
Mhm.
So what is $12 million? I mean, what are you admitting to? What are you giving $12 million for? Now what kind of money $12 million and you won't even dignify Breonna Taylor's life
Right.
uh,
Mhm.
by saying one cop did anything wrong. And
Mhm.
the wall, some magic wall, got more justice than Breonna Taylor did. And a cop was criminally charged for discharging his fire weapon or his firearm into a neighbor's wall.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was just amazing. We
Yeah.
get no justice. We get no love.
Mhm.
And I'm shaking my head, and it doesn't mean words to anybody who can't see me, but it's amazing. It's amazing. It hurts. It
It
hurts. I mean, it hurts to a point where I see, I see what our forefathers were going through.
Mhm.
I see what our forefathers are going through in the days of limited technology and just scared to walk down the street. You know, as you know, I have a teenage son, and
Yeah.
you have some young
Preteen.
boys as well,
Mhm.
and it is just amazingly scary. On, I want him to find his style. He's growing his hair out. Ah, he's growing his hair out. I love it. Do your thing. Find your style. That's what you have to do. That's what we all have to do. But he can easily be mistaken as one of those.
Mhm.
And I'm scared every time he walks out to go play and hang out and be with his friends,
Mhm.
because three or more constitute a gang.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, Miss Davis, it's horrible.
It is.
It is horrible. It's one of those things where um, will we ever get peace?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
the question. Will we ever get peace? And we're asking, will we ever get peace for 100 episodes back? And if we got peace for the 99th, we're still 100 back, because tomorrow is going to be another one.
Mhm.
And it's scary.
It's
I
very.
hope that answered your question, because
It did. It
I have so much emotion that I don't even know where to begin again or where to end.
did. And
I'll just leave it at that. It's horrible. I'm scared, and I'm not alone.
no, you are not alone. And there are so many of us that are responding and saying many of the same things that you're talking about and similar things all across social media. We've seen it from interviews where people said, well, what did you kill her for? You know, when you listen to the video, because well, in the video, to me it was very uncaring. They were like, she's done. And when you watch this video, I encourage anyone to watch it, because you need to see what policing in America is like. And it looks like there are at least 8 to 10 SWAT members, full tactical gear, in performing a military operation from room to clear. I understand what SWAT does. I understand that they were searching for criminals. However, when you don't find drugs and you don't find what you're looking for and realize this is not the whatever you thought it was, that's a problem. And unfortunately, that means that everyone in America is at risk.
But we didn't even get that far.
We didn't.
We can suppose we can logically make leaps from one idea to the next, but there's no rhyme or reason.
It's
These men into a wall, one into the neighbors, one into the apartment Breonna Taylor was in. Yeah. But they shot into the wall. Yeah. So this no-knock warrant, and then they say they knocked, and then the neighbor says that this magical witness heard them scream police. Is this the same neighbor whose wall got shot into?
Could be.
I mean, are we in the projects? Not
from the video that I saw. And then there's a story that the boyfriend who was in the apartment with Breonna, he said that he was offered money to say that she was selling drugs. So there are all these different undercurrents.
He was supposed to be the one that they were looking for, but oops, wrong boyfriend.
Exactly. It's just.
So whose apartment was it? His or hers?
Right. Well, it was supposed to be hers. The issue that might be is that she may have, or maybe he just used her address and had mail sent to her house. And so that's supposed to lay the groundwork or the foundation for part of the reason why they say this. They say they had surveillance and some other things. I have a very personal story, and I'm not going to go into it, but my grandmother, we had a no-knock warrant at her house, and she lived next to a crack house that we have been fighting for to get torn down for years. The police told me when I found out, when I got back in town, what had happened to my grandmother, that the criminal that the undercover officer had made the deal with whoever the criminal was, and he said he lived at my grandmother's house. I said, now listen, I told the deputy chief, I need you to drive down my grandmother's street. There are 4 houses on her block. 4, because this is one of those neighborhoods where drugs had completely gone through. And I need you to tell me what house you see. He drove down. He said, Miss Davis, your grandmother's house is well manicured. I know which house is a crack house. I said, exactly. And it's not her house. What I learned from that was this happens more often than not. It is a problem in this country that we don't talk about. And until someone who is of importance is killed, not saying that Breonna Taylor is not, but until it's someone that everybody cares about, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And unfortunately, we all live in fear that someday somebody's going to reverse a letter, reverse a number, misspell something, because those are all the ways that people have warrants issued against them, and it turns out it's the wrong address.
Yeah, that's very true. And the cover up behind it.
Yeah.
And the cover up behind it. And I mean, there's so many different scenarios, so many different issues of not just police brutality, but cover ups. Cover ups. And the cover ups. There's way too. There's people who don't want to be exposed, and so we fall into those traps. And then, unfortunately, us people of color, we're expendable.
We are.
It's horrible. It's unfortunate. And Breonna Taylor's situation is nothing new. It just seems to be the 2020, the 2019, the 2020.
It does.
And there's going to be another, because history has a horrible way of repeating itself.
It sure does.
Especially with the attitudes going on in this country. And I know one thing leads to another. So, we've gone through George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and those are just the top names.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many names. There's so many things, and just to go back to the Emmett Tills, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just horrible, and beyond.
Yes.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
our country is rife with that. This country, our country is riddled with these kinds of stories and these kinds of incidents, and it's always flipped to something else. Well, it's you have to respect law enforcement, and you can't defund the police. And we've talked about that before, that people think defund the police means that we're going to get rid of the police departments, and now crime is going to be everywhere. And in this election year, all you hear from one candidate is, watch out, they're coming to your neighborhoods.
Law
You don't
and
want, you
order.
don't want them in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, and then they try to say, yeah, watch out, Portland. Watch out, Seattle.
Right.
Those people are coming to your neighborhoods, and so you better watch out. Then you have protests in Detroit. You have protests in Baltimore. You have protests in
In
all these
Atlanta. Mm-hmm.
chocolate cities,
Yeah.
and then you better watch out because you chocolate suburbs. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, now I remember this in a Parliament Funkadelic song.
Exactly. 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 So I have to pivot now because we got to talk about comfort food because we're supposed to talk about food too. So, and listening to all the things that we were talking about, all the things that you mentioned, a lot of people are turning to food as a source of comfort.
That's right.
All, and as we know, all over the United States, we have cases creeping back up of COVID. Different states are doing different things, but a lot of people are still basically at home. And whether your choice is sweet or salty or savory, which is mine, everybody's struggling. Like potato chips, oh my goodness, that's my favorite. Give me some saucy potato chips, I'm happy. But I'm gonna tell you, I love a good steak, some whipped potatoes with garlic, some
Uh-huh.
steamed
Making me hungry.
some steamed asparagus, and a good glass of red wine, and I'm happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to put a whole meal
And
in.
you should be.
Right, right. But so, we shouldn't be eating that every day because
Not every day. That's
not
right.
every day. So, what advice would you give to people who are struggling if they like sweets and want to indulge, or like salty, savory, or like me, just like rich food and just want to be able to eat every day, but don't want to get gout and heart disease and diabetes and all those things?
Right. Well, the first word is moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Moderation. There's nothing wrong with the steak and mashed potatoes, garlic butter, and the cheese on the broccoli and all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Follow it up with some red wine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the thing is moderation. Um, Salty, sweet, those are things that our body craves. Salt and sugar. It
Mm-hmm.
craves that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
craves it all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the amazing thing is our body needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Our body needs fats. Our body needs salt. Our body needs some sweets. Um, However, moderation. Um, we have to learn moderation. Um, Too much of anything causes trouble, as we know. You mentioned things like gout, um, things like diabetes, high blood pressure. These are just some of the afflictions, especially in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the afflictions that seem to creep up a lot. But there's nothing wrong with comfort food. It brings you comfort, and whatever brings you comfort, enjoy it. But we can't be comfortable all the time. Again, we need fats. Our body needs fats in order to continue with the body function. but we can't have too many fats. And we have to know what's good fats and what's bad fats, because saturated fats are not the good fats. Um, our body has a hard time burning those, uh, burning saturated fats, and those are the things that tend to creep up and stay with us, and um, cause those levels to change and eventually lead to heart disease and liver problems and things of that nature. Same thing with sweets. Our body needs sugars. Um, a lot of our foods have natural sugars. It's the added sugars, it's the processed sugars, it's the artificial sweeteners that tend to give us problems. The syrups, the manufactured syrups and sweeteners, those are the things that tend to give us problems. So that's what we have to manage. So we have to watch, especially those of us who like to wake up in the morning with a cup of coffee.
That's it.
And a lot of times we add lots of sugar, and the cream has sugar in it. And so we're starting our day with a lot of sugar to break down throughout the day. And though our bodies can break down certain levels of sugar, and each of us are different, can break down certain levels of sugar, we add way too much. And then we do this on a daily, and then again, we look for high blood pressure, we look for gout, we look for diabetes, we look for lots of different things that happens when our body can't break down. So the sugars in alcohol, um, the sugars that we add in our coffees, the sugars that we get from our candies,
Mhm.
um, moderation. Okay, um, hey, enjoy that steak, but follow it up with some fruits and some vegetables throughout the day. Drink lots of water. Many of us, that's where we're lacking the most. It's just liquid intake, water,
Mhm.
not the pop. That's way too much sugar.
Mhm.
The Kool-Aids,
Mhm.
the energy drinks and the teas that we're buying from the stores and the gas stations just to get us by. Those are those are the things that silently creep up and get us.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's not even the comfort food. Sometimes you forgot that you had 6 monsters today. You forgot.
Exactly.
So sometimes you forgot you had 6 cups of coffee instead of your regular 5. And but we're all guilty of some of that. And so moderation is the key.
All right, so we got to talk about our controversial topic because you started something on Facebook. You made a post about pork, the other white meat, and why it was bad for you. And I'm gonna tell on myself because I was like, "What? Bacon makes everything better. What's wrong with you?" So for those of us that love our bacon,
Uh,
why is it that pork is bad? And should we get rid of it out of our diet? Because I know some people, they just won't eat pork at all. And I know other people are like, well, I do it in moderation. And other people are just like, look, something gonna kill me. I'm just gonna have me a slice of bacon.
well, you know, it's up for debate, um, because it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
Bacon, pork chops, many different lamb chops. Well, there's
Lamb
many
chops
different.
are lamb. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I misspoke on that one, but there are many things. There are many delicacies that you get from the pig, and it's just one of those meats that many of us have a hard time breaking down. It
Mm-hmm.
takes many days, to break down inside your body.
Mm-hmm.
Again, everything in moderation. Um, I would love to say, there are some that have pork every day and love it. Again, tastes good. Bacon tastes good. There's some who would disagree with me, but it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there are some health benefits. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that pork doesn't have any health benefits, but there are some health benefits. There are some proteins that your body needs. Um, B12, vitamin B12, some of the fats definitely that your body needs. But pork is one of those things that you can't indulge in. You can't overdo it. It takes a very long time to break down inside your body. Whereas 24 hours to 48 hours for some of your foods, pork actually could take up to a week to digest. Yeah, sounds kind of long when you put it in perspective, but you know, that's just some of the ways that that pork moves through our body. Religious factors. There are some religions that will not touch pork.
Yes.
Because in the doctrines of certain religions, it defiles the body because of the nature of the pig and the duties on earth of what the pig is supposed to do.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, on earth, the pig is waste management, and and that's the job of the pig. And so what kind of nutrition is the pig getting from, eating all the waste? So if you put that into the picture, they're not cultivated. They're not cultivated to eat the healthiest grass that some of the cows may eat. They're not cultivated to eat some of the other horticulture that you might find around. They're the garbage cleaners. They're the garbage. They're the garbage animals. And again, there are some delicacies that taste very good, but they're not the healthiest animals to put into your body.
Very good point. I just wanted to stress it. I still say bacon is good. Bacon.
Pork chops too.
And ham.
What about them with a pork rinds?
See, stop it. I can't do all that now because that'll just, and ham on Easter is good too.
Oh my goodness. I intentionally left the ham off because
you are a fan.
So many things about ham.
Yes. But I digress. Thank you for letting us know about the pros and cons of bacon. So you're going to move into from food to fitness. So fall is here in the United States.
Yes.
Many of us, like me, are summer people. We like to be out in the light. We get energy. We get recharged. Because fall is upon us, that means that our days are getting shorter. So that means opportunities to get outside are becoming less and less.
Very true.
What would you advise someone who says, you know what? I've been in the house since March. I didn't really get out and do anything this summer. It's October now. I need to do something because, I got an extra 15, 20 pounds on me. What would you tell them to do, even with fall upon us and light becoming, or the days becoming shorter?
Well, not only that, we're still in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes, we are.
Because there's, especially here in the Midwest where we are, we are subject to this winter and to the snow and to all of the changes of weather. So you're right, getting outside is going to be a lot harder. I would recommend joining a gym. Or there's many benefits. Of course, the social benefit, but with the COVID-19, the social benefit is, we have to wear a mask. And working out with the mask is not the easiest thing. I do it every day. It's not the easiest thing. But if you can do it, do it. Move as best you can. The rule of thumb is just find something that works for you, something you have fun with. But we're talking about getting outside. Getting outside, if you can still get out and walk, do it. Here in Detroit, where I am, we've had almost 80-degree weather so far throughout the month of October.
Yeah.
And that's almost unheard of. So take advantage of it. If anybody is here where I am, take advantage of it. Get outside, walk around, find a park, find a track, walk around the neighborhood, walk around your apartment complex, walk around in a parking lot. a well-lit parking lot,
Mhm.
so that you won't have to worry about not being around people. But get out and move. You have to be creative. Okay. When the winter time comes, get a good pair of boots and a nice coat and some gloves. Wrap yourself up and take those kids for a walk. Walk that dog. Get out. Do something. If you're stuck in the house, which no one likes to be stuck, you're tired of being stuck in the house. Move.
Mhm.
Get up right now and just lift those, march in place. Just while you're watching TV, wait till the commercials and march for 30 seconds, march for a minute, and go right back to your news show. Go right back to your soap opera or whatever it is you're watching. Every commercial, get up and march. And then pretty soon you'll think of some other things to do. Do some knee bends, some squats, reach for the ceiling. Whatever your fitness level, your age level, there is something that you can do. In fact, my mom had a birthday yesterday, and
Happy birthday, Miss Hart.
hey, happy birthday. That's right. And got her one of those stationary pedals. So
Mm.
while she's sitting in a chair, that she can still pedal, and
Mhm.
so she can go around like this with her feet,
Mhm.
something to keep her moving. And I was like, well, I love it. As soon as my mother saw it, her eyes would, because now she can move. And she said, and I just was tired of sitting down. And
Mhm.
I said, Mom, there's just way too many people. Now I wish I could promote it. I can't promote the product,
Mhm.
but it is a stationary pedal. So she gets the motion of riding a bike.
I
Listen, to
see
all of your listeners, Kim, I would just like to say that nothing is impossible. You can do something. You can lift, you can twist, you can move, you can do something. If there if there is some way for those of us who are so physically challenged that we can't use our arms or our legs or anything of that nature, we can still smile. We can still praise God,
Amen.
and and somehow everything will be all right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Harp. See, I knew we knew what to go to talk about food and fitness and to get your take on current trends and conversations that are going on. Tell us how we can find you. Tell us where we can reach you. And tell us about something that you are thinking about doing. Are you ready to announce it yet or no?
Well, we're getting there, and I appreciate you saying that. I love the plug. It's coming. It's
Okay.
coming.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so by the next time I talk to you, I have it all ready and ready to bring it to the masses.
All right.
Um,
Stay
with
tuned.
Eric Harp. Eric Harp is my name. I am currently at the Forum Fitness Center in Westland, Michigan. Come on in, let me know what you're looking for, and we'll get those physical fitness needs taken care of. You can reach me at erichart9@gmail.com. And keep an eye out, folks. Eric Harp is coming.
And we are so excited to see what you're going to bring for us. Thank you, Eric, for being on our show today. I'm sure we will have another exciting topic from you next month. So thank you again for coming on.
We'll talk about the fly in the hair of that vice
Oh
president
my goodness.
debate.
We have to talk about that and then the kidnapping attempt on two governors. We didn't even
Oh
get to
my
that. We
goodness.
didn't get
I
to that.
know. Listen, time is limited. I love you, and we will talk soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you for watching the Kim B. Davis Show. I hope to see you on our next episode. And always remember, be magnificent.